YouTubers, Mike Martin's here, Mike Martin's channel. Welcome to Morning Coffee with Mike. Yeah, I just brought little Red, the red Corvette. I don't know, we gotta give her a name. Been doing a lot of work to her, a lot of restoration, and I kind of wanted to bring up restoration today. I think restoration's important, or disfiguration. And what am I talking about? Well, guys, today I want to talk about the Frankenstein monster, or should we say Victor von Frankenstein's monster. What am I talking about? I kind of want to compare Victor Frankenstein, or Frankenstein, the monster, to our banking system. The current banking system and the banking situation that we are in right now is why a majority of the reason why affordability levels will never be or be adjusted or be fair or to average wages, right? Average wages, we always need to go off average wage earners. Average wage earners are a majority of what make up our middle class. And it's us, basically. The people that strive, the people that want to buy a toy or two, right? The people that want to kind of smell or feel or touch what some of the finer things are in life. And there's nothing wrong with living in abundance. There's nothing wrong with living free and I guess completed. Or anyways, I don't want to get philosophical here today, but I do want to talk about the comparisons. Now, Victor von Frankenstein, or Victor Frankenstein, a lot of people don't know that's the doctor that created the monster known as Frankenstein. Now, when Mary Shelley wrote that book, she was kind of vague on a few things. Somewhat vague on the reassembly to complete a perfect soul, or the reassembly of the completion of the perfect one, right? Now, Victor Frankenstein wanted to create life, and he wanted to create it. But what he wanted to do was he wanted to assemble it. And what are the banking cartels doing today? They're assembling a system that we all need to live and work by, a system that we cannot break because we will be imprisoned for it, but a system that could be manipulated and flawed by those in the inside. So Victor Frankenstein created a monster out of multiple bodies, out of bodies that were found. Our banking system is created by, was originally had a lot of laws in place to protect the consumers, like the Glass-Steagall Act, all different stuff that was put in, gold standard, all this stuff that was put into our systems to protect the local populations, right? Now, how did they protect the local populations during the era of Victor Frankenstein? Well, they stopped the average human or the average person without a medical degree or a medical profession to stop practicing medicine. Basically, they passed a law in that time that you need to be, because back in the day, people would just be taking corpses out of the ground and taking them to their homes or to the gallows and taking them back to their homes and basically buying them off the body movers at the time for whatever price they wanted. And that's what's happening right now with the junk assets that we have. We're creating demand without the value, right? So there'll be people waiting on the sidelines, waiting for that supply, but the body or the corpse movers would be creating this massive demand that you need this. We need this science. We need to, what can you find out for us? What can you establish for us from the private? You see, a lot of corpses at one time were donated to the universities back in the day when they were doing, but then when they realized there was a black market for corpses, and that's what's happening with our bonds. There's a black market for it. Who is buying it? Who is buying these junk bonds? Who is buying? It's our money, our printed money, our governments that are bailing out these institutions. It's the feds. It's all different levels of banking. Whether they're repo markets, whatever they're doing. You see, Victor Frankenstein wanted to create life, but wanted to bring back life, right? Wanted to bring back, if you watch the movie, his wife. Wanted to bring back play God. Now, when you compare it, you could see a lot of similarities. That we've created this monster. And what monster have we created? This banking system. We've lowered rates more. We've lowered rates even further. We've lowered rates to a point where we've created a monster. Now, we don't know how to guide it. We don't know what to do. Because historically, we've never been at such low rates for such a small time. Now, lowering rates is important because it helps stimulate the economy. It urges people to spend. But when you continuously keep lowering rates for the last 10 years, it doesn't make sense because now Frankenstein's alive in the banking system. Now, what are the bankers going to do? They're going to keep feeding Frankenstein and giving him what he wants so that there's no collapse, so that there's no fall, so there's no free fall, so there's no correction. And how do you correct the balance with Frankenstein? Is by killing the monster. To bring back order. It's very important, that people understand how the system that was designed, or the system that so many average Joe donuts, that's what they say in Kaiser Report, the average Joe donuts, just the day-to-dayer that doesn't understand, that thinks that, oh, my government's here not to protect me, but to look out and make sure that laws are upheld. But again, when someone else is buying up the bodies to start experimenting with them, to create their own Frankenstein, that's what's been happening with the repo markets. That's what's been happening with the junk bonds. That's what's been happening with the stock buybacks. That's what's been happening with the manipulation in the markets, whether it's spoofing the gold, silver. Silver market's been spoofed for the last, I don't even know, man, for the last, I think honestly, I remember when silver went to $50, and then they put a quick stop to that real quick in a heartbeat. Why? Because then the average Joe Donuts has a chance to make it. So the system is rigged against us, regardless. The system is always going to be rigged against us, right? And again, Frankenstein's monster. The system was rigged against the monster itself, but he didn't know it, right? So the creation doesn't know. The creator knows. The creator knows the flaws, right? Just like our banking system. Bringing something like this to life was just absolute treason against the people. High treason against the people. So what do we do now? Well, we don't have the control. We don't have the switches. We don't have control to the switches. We don't have control to the algorithms. We don't have control to anything, right? Everything's been put in place in a way where the people that do get voted in, or the people that do assume power, are already pre-programmed, or try to be pre-programmed, like Frankenstein's monster. And that's what Victor Frankenstein tried to do. He didn't create the monster out of the fact to create havoc and problems. He actually created the monster to better humankind. And that's what the banking system, now on the other end of the banking system, they think wholeheartedly that they're bettering humankind. But realistically, we're not. We have to get a third, a fourth, a fifth job. Heck, maybe just work 24 hours a day until automated systems come in. And then what happens then? The system that was put together, the system that was created, pieced together by either removing acts and laws put in place to protect the average consumer, and it reassembled with shifty, crony, bankster numbers, bankster applications, bankster reform. to basically pretty much set us up for failure. It's always going to be rigged against us. It always shall be rigged against us. But how do we play against it? How do we win against it? What do we do to take it to the next level? Well, maybe we have to beat them at their own game. And there's always a way. If there's a will, there's a way, guys. I look very forward to reading your comments. Let me know, guys. Frankenstein. Victor von Frankenstein. Do you see the similarities between the banking system, the monster we created? Do you see, or am I just losing my mind? Comment below. I look forward to reading your comments.